All right, howdy folks, it's Jay. Let's run through this real quick. If you go to your internet search engine, you can type in Wake County IMAPS, IMAPS, that stands for Interactive Maps. Should be the first one that comes up, one or two. It's the Wake County GIS Internet Multi-Access Parcel System. And you want to select, there's a bunch of choices across the top and some other information at the bottom, but you want to choose this thing right here, this blue one, Wake County IMAPS. Take a second to load as it queries a database and brings up the default layers. Now here's your layout screen, okay, and here's your map of Wake County. You can see you can move it around and pan it and center it. The boundary of the county is in black, and you have your interstates in red, and then you have your U.S. highways in orange and your North Carolina state highways in black. Then you have some wilderness areas in green and blue, some water, and then your more populated areas are shaded different colors, and there are some boundaries lined along for the municipalities. So just to give you an idea of where we're at in this Wake County, you can pan around. You can grab the map up there, or you can move it around in this little inset box down here. It doesn't matter. It's a little quicker to do it that way sometimes if you're changing big areas and you're already zoomed in. You can minimize that window. You can minimize a lot of stuff to give you more real estate on screen, which is pretty cool. There's some basic navigational tools. You can select the plus and left click your way into an area. You can select the minus and left click your way out in an area. Let's see here. Oops. You can pan. You can really zoom in, and it shows you more detail as you do move in. Let's try to zoom in onto the Memorial Auditorium at the south end of Fayetteville Street. And you can see they start to show little icons for the trees, that kind of thing. You can see grassy areas, sidewalks, and then you can zoom out and you can get back out here. You can go to previous zooms, forward zooms, you can pan around. Basically works like your Google Maps or your Google Earth, and then you can hit zoom extents and zoom back out to the full view, and then you can recenter it. You can also use this little zoom in scroll bar there, vertical scroll bar. There's tools to identify things. You can pull down a little list. It'll give you layer information. I will warn you that this doesn't give you detailed information, but it will give you details about the actual attributes of whatever object you select on that layer. You can measure lines and stuff. You can do a straight line. It's left click of your mouse button, and it'll tell you in feet. You can change the units to meters, miles, kilometers. That's pretty cool. So that total length looked like it was 50 miles, which is about right. This tool is kind of neat. It's a polygon area tool. So I'm just gonna left click and hold down and quickly go around what's called the belt line, which is the interior highway of the interstate here. And it'll tell you that the area contained within that is 21 acres. Looked like 21,000 acres. But you can look at different units as squares, okay, square units, and clear that out. If you want to zoom in on an area, let's go back to where we were looking at before. Down here inside the city a little bit towards these three buildings right here. Okay, this is the convention center area. Okay, the Raleigh Convention Center area. And what's neat is you can bring up aerials, and you can look at like a time domain of the aerials that they have in the system. So you can see back in 2005, there's still parking areas in here and some buildings. In 2006, they began construction on the new Raleigh Convention Center, and that's why it looks, pretty hacked up in there. If you zoom in, you can see, you know, track hose and some heavy equipment, excavators. 2007, they had most of the building built. You can start to see the tunnel road that goes into the inside underground. By 2008, they had most of the main convention center built and some of the Marriott Hotel and some of the other areas. They're working on another one called Charter Square that's right near here. That was in 2009. This is actually not quite up to date. I'm not sure why, but you can play this whole thing as a sort of an animation. There's the tunnel that goes under. You can see by the shading, the shadows. But you can look at these aerials in sequence, you know, over time, and set the length between the years in seconds. And these aren't linear years. If you notice, it goes from 1981 to 2009. But, you know, 1981 jumps to 1988, and then 1999, then 2002, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we get down here to the last 2009, this looks a little bit different than that when I dragged it to 2009, because on the west side of the convention center, the main convention center, it looks a little grassier in here now with the tunnel road going under. This is all an amphitheater in here now. This is the Raleigh Amphitheater, Boutique Amphitheater, I believe it's called. There's a 5,000 seat amphitheater in there with a stage and lighting and room for vendors and kiosks. That's the Marriott, and then that's where the new Charter Square is going to go in. That project's a little bit delayed right now. There's BB&T right outside of 2 Hanover Square, which is City Plaza.